Hello from the Paycom Center, where practice day 2 for the NBA Finals is done, with game 2 coming up tomorrow. What did players on both sides say about where they need to be better and about each other, and so much more? You'll hear about it all today on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy weekend whenever you're tuning in, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today my voice is fading away, and I'm doing my best because we have a lot to discuss. It was practice day 2 here in the Paycom Center. We got to hear from several Pacers and Thunder players about game 1 and how they look forward to game 2, what needs to be different, what needs to be better, how they can get through it. We heard from, and you'll hear from today, many of those players. Interviews I've recorded on my phone with Ben Sheppard, TJ McConnell, Thomas Bryant on the Pacers side, and on the Thunder side, Cason Wallace, who is guarding Tyrese Haliburton on that late shot, Chet Holmgren, and Alex Caruso. I found the Pacers side to be very interesting because a lot of the chatter was about exactly what you'd expect. Turnovers, right? And I've asked guys about this before. I explained it on this podcast a few times, but it's very interesting to hear from them when you're talking about things like, hey, you guys go into every game saying turnovers. This is the biggest thing. We have to cut this down. We have to limit our turnovers. And then they don't. They can't. It's very challenging. That's what the Thunder do. It's the difficulties they provide. The Pacers know they have to be better, and they explained some of those challenges today and many other things they hope to be better at in the second game of the series. Ben Sheppard, for example, talked about how the Thunder really clogged the paint, and that's true. And I think that's kind of an under-discussed part of game 1 for the Pacers, was that their points in the paint number was pretty low. They shot it well from 3. They generated threes that they like and earned and should have made, to be clear. But the ratio of points in the paint to jumpers was not typically, I think, where the Pacers like, and I think Ben Sheppard gets into that pretty well. I enjoyed hearing Andrew Nembhard talk about his late 3 over Shea and the dribble combo that set that up. Thomas Bryant talking about team camaraderie, how Rick Carlisle is guiding this team, so much more. I can't remember. There's one other player that's in here today that I can't remember. TJ McConnell talking about those turnovers, the importance of winning game 1 to what it means for the rest of the series. The Thunder side was fascinating as well, because you heard Rylan Stiles and I discuss on the show yesterday where they might feel like things need to change. OKC, right? Because they played pretty well for a lot of the game. They were up 15 and then they blew it, obviously. How do they feel about that? I enjoyed hearing Chet Holmgren talk about the 2 big lineups, something that the Thunder went away from, right? Why did they go away from it? Is it something they could turn back to? What are the specific challenges it does or does not come with when playing the Pacers? And Chet got into a lot more about, the pace battle, the things OKC needs to do better on defense. Alex Caruso talking a little bit about that kind of stuff as well. I thought an interesting theme of the day was, hearing Thunder players get asked about their passing. I don't think I've brought this up on the show at all. I might do it in the podcast the day before game 2, but I think that I saw 207 was the pass number for the Thunder in game 1. I'd have to verify that myself, which would be their lowest figure of the entire season, right? Did the Pacers actually do something to cause them to not have as much ball movement as they normally do? Was there something more to that internally for them, right? What exactly limited them from playing the way they want with their ball movement? A lot of guys got into that. I was with Cason Wallace's media scrum when he was asked about defending Tyrese Haliburton on that last shot, what he was thinking, how he was trying to handle it, and what went into that. So you'll just get a lot of insights today. I keep spoiling all the fun conversation points, but a lot of them are relevant for the game 2 stuff, right? I'll do my solo pre-game 2 podcast later tonight that you guys, of course, will get to hear. But there's a lot of little things that did not get discussed from game 1 because of the way it ended, right? So much of the focus goes to the crazy run at the end for both teams, the positive side of it for the Pacers and the negative side of it for the Thunder when a game ends that way. And it should, right? That's the story of the game, the setup to get to that point and then what happened at that moment. But there was a lot of game before that, and will be very revealing going forward. And talking to people today, a lot of people wonder what the outlier half was from game 1, right? Was the first half where the Thunder were up 12 at halftime? Is that the normal? Is that what this is going to reveal itself to be in game 2? Or was the Pacers second half one that they said they settled in more and played more their way? Is that going to be the normal in game 2? It's impossible to know. The basketball will do the talking, but we can get some insights on how players are thinking, where they expect things to head in the series, and so much more today. So you'll hear from them. If you're listening to this, it'll be hard to know who's who and when you hear the questions, but the answers hopefully will reveal what voice you're hearing. It'll alternate Pacers and Thunder players. If you're watching on YouTube, that's the best way to do this, because you can see the player and their name and see their mouth move to hear everything as beautiful as possible, because it's quite loud in here. So let is just get right to interviews. Before we get into that, though, we got to talk about the great people over at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here. The finals are in full swing. Every night's delivering highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player. There's never been a better time to get in on the action, and FanDuel will help you do that, making it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. They've got player props, performance trends, same-game parlays, and more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next big bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds? If you've got a read on who's heating up, why not back it up with a same-game parlay? How could $200 in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? Well, that's where FanDuel can come in for you. If you're new, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Back here on Locked On Pacers, thanks for making us your first listen every single day. Make your second listen either Locked On Thunder, where Rylan Stiles and I have been chatting all series, or just listen to other episodes of Locked On Pacers. Now let's just get right to it with interviews from Thunder and Pacers players on practice day 2 here at the NBA Finals.
You guys are 8 of 10 in that left corner. Is that something you saw, a gap where, hey, let's take advantage of that, or did it just play out that way?
Yeah, coach has been giving us confidence to let it fly. When we get open shots, just go into it like we go into it in practice, and just be confident in our games and our shots, and we have to make that type of things that you said. So.
What is the best advice that you can give the young athletes about playing on the NBA?
Just keep working. I'd say for a player like myself, I didn't really know that I could make it to this level until like my senior year of college. So just being confident, trusting your work, and just doing everything you can to better yourself as a player.
You guys know it's not scientific, but does it become contagious? You had 9 guys hit a 3, 4 different guys hit a 3 in that fourth quarter. Does it become contagious in a way when one guy starts seeing them fall that it just sort of spreads?
Definitely, especially in a game like that, the tensions are high and stuff doesn't seem to be going our way. When we see a bunch of different guys hitting threes, it just gives everyone confidence, I feel like, and an energy boost that we needed in that point in time.
How much does a three-pointer become, I don't want to say like a security blanket, but when other things aren't going well, but you know you have that, you know that you can weaponize the three-point line.
Yeah.
Just kind of solves a lot of other problems like this.
It's a huge shot, especially being down like we were that whole game. Just seeing a 3 go in is just kind of a breath of fresh air for us, and we took advantage of it.
You knew leading up to the series that OKC forces a bunch of turnovers, right? It's their thing. You talked about avoiding it. Yet you still had 18 or 19 in the first half. What do they do that makes it so even when it is a focus, it's still something you have to deal with?
I feel like they take away the whole paint. It seems like they're flying around everywhere. They play a tight-knit defense, and they're all connected. I've heard people say it's like 5 people on the string, and that's what it really looks like out there. So just being confident with the ball, being strong with the ball, and making good decisions will be super important for us.
Last shot, did you force Hali to go to the right, or you want just keep in front of him and making difficult shots for him?
I just wanted to make it a little difficult for him. I didn't force him either way. I feel like he, with the time on the clock and, what was going on the floor, made a nice shot.
Cason, was there anything they did that caused you guys to have trouble scoring off the turnovers, the live ball turnovers that you generally have so much success doing, or was that just a matter of you guys didn't take advantage of it and you expect that'll be better in game 2?
Yeah, we just got to take care of it once we get it, capitalize on their mistakes, and we'll be better at that next one round.
In the second round, Donovan Mitchell was saying, we know about the Pacers pace, but it's hard to practice at that pace, so the games kind of caught them off guard. Did you feel like you guys were prepared for that tempo, and what kind of challenges did it present you during the game?
Yeah, we play fast too, I want to say. We could play with more pace, and we could play that for a whole game.
There's a stat out there that you guys made fewer passes and pretty much any team in any game since that sort of tracking data has been out there. Was the ball sticking? Were you intentionally, not passing as frequently as you usually do?
No, that was brought to our attention. in our film session that we didn't move the ball how we usually do. That could have been a problem that, we'll be better at it next game. We won't make the same mistake twice.
How big is that just mentally to steal one, at least one, on the road?
I think it's a really, really big mental standpoint out there because, playing on the road is very tough. Especially in the playoffs, it's 10 times tougher than anything else. So when you can steal one on the road, man, it means a lot for us, mentally, psychologically, and going into, the other games, going in with a full head, good circle around us, and the confidence that we have to go in those games. So it feels good.
Thomas, now that you've been with this team for a while, what has stood out to you about Rick and how he operates and commands this roster?
I believe Rick is a great, fabulous coach, man. And the thing about it is that Rick has been here multiple times. He's felt this. He knows it, as a player and as a coach too. So, you get the best of both worlds right there from the coach. And for him, he always puts us in a great position to succeed, man. And he leans on his bench. He loves his starters, but he also loves his bench too, and that's where I really love that about him as well. And he gives us the opportunity to go out there and play.
About the game, it is harder for you and your teammates taking good shots when Indiana is playing full court plays.
Yeah, I mean their pressure, at least with some of our main guys, is more just to get us out of rhythm. I thought we got pretty good shots. Even on some of the attacks early, I was able to get downhill, get layups. And then obviously just flowing into our secondary stuff is probably the area where we can improve a little bit.
Alex, how much those final 3 minutes back, the 12-2 run, what did you take away from those last 3 minutes and change, and how did you think that this small ball line could have been better?
You give them credit. They made some big shots, some tough ones. There wasn't too many possessions where I think that we had, maybe execution errors. And then obviously, we missed a couple shots. Shea got some great looks. Some of that probably comes down to not, putting ourselves in a position to where the game comes down to that at the end of the game. Being a little more efficient in transition, maybe not forcing at the rim, playing off 2 feet early in the game, just spraying the ball a little, getting them behind, and extending that lead from 10, 12 to 17, 18, 20 points, just so if they do throw in shots like they did and we miss, we've had the game in control.
How did you defense as a team reduce Oklahoma City's ball movement in game 1, and just how important is that for the rest of the series?
I'm not sure whether it did that or not. I think we talk about playing a full 94 feet game, picking guys up, wearing on them, being physical, being fast out there, and I think that was something for them to adjust.
What did you guys tell to each other because of the turnovers in the first half? That's normally something that you do to your opponent. Now it's you that had all the turnovers. How are you coping with that?
We knew that was going to be a point of emphasis, and it was ridiculous how many times we turned the ball over in the first half. We felt like we were a little rushed and kind of playing into the nerves of the moment, but we did a good job of settling that down in the second half, and that's going to be something we focus on going forward.
What was the biggest difference in turnovers for you guys in the first and second half, besides the numbers, obviously?
Yeah, they did a great job with their hands, just on rebounds, on after you get past a player, they're going to come from behind and keep swiping. They got a lot of handsy defenders, so just being ball tough, strong with it, and not rushing.
Drew, did that combo of dribble moves on your late 3 come to you in the moment? Is that a prepped thing? How did that come together for you?
No, it definitely just came in the moment. Definitely not trying to over-predict things in the game and just trying to feel it out. And that's what I fell into.
Chet, you played 1 season with Andrew Nembhard at Gonzaga. And what did you come to appreciate about him as a teammate, and anything that happened in Game 1 surprised you, at least on your background with him?
Yeah, obviously, he's my guy. Great dude. I have a lot of compliments for him as a basketball player and a person, but we're playing against him right now, so I'm going to hold on to all those.
You guys did a lot of double big, obviously, through the playoffs and didn't in Game 1. How do you kind of see this matchup and the ability for you guys still to go double big at times?
At the end of the day, us as players, our responsibility is to be ready to execute no matter what the coaches ask us to do out there. And in Game 1, that was to play more single big. And whether the coaches ask us to do that or ask the team to go small or ask the team to go double big. We got to be ready for that and be able to execute it. And that's just kind of what we focus on.
How do you see the challenge of facing them with two bigs if you do decide to go that way?
I mean, it has trade-offs just like anything else. At the end of the day, they're a team that plays with pace, so you have to match that in both directions. They're a team that moves the ball, plays off the catch really well, so again, you have to match that, understand what each player is trying to do, understand what they're trying to do as a team, and it really doesn't change whether we're double big or single big. What you have to execute stays pretty much the same.
Again, this is another series that you guys have been able to do this. Just how big is that to steal game one? You guys have stolen games 1 and 2 on the last couple series.
Yeah, I mean, I think winning in the playoffs is really hard, but winning in the playoffs on the road is even harder. So to get a win on the road in a game like that, obviously very important, but we've got to move past it and just focus on game 2. And that starts with today on fixing the things that we didn't do so well.
Ty mentioned yesterday when you guys settled in throughout the game more often. When you came in for the first time, how different would you describe the emotion of coming into a finals game versus any other experience you've had like that?
Yeah, well, I've never checked into a finals game before, so it was a first for me. And I think in the beginning, we kind of had that deer in headlights look. All of us except for Pascal have never played in the finals. So, like you said, once we settled in and looked more comfortable, we started to play our game a little bit more.